Hello everybody, and welcome again to my channel. In front of you, you see a number of books. All of these books have something in common. That is that they are not available at the jw.org website under the library section. Now, these books here were for the most part published within my lifetime. And in fact, I remember being at the district conventions where most of these were released. Now currently, the Jehovah's Witnesses do not have district conventions, they have regional conventions. But in Spanish they were called district assemblies. You know, in reality though, I don't think that district convention or district assembly is actually the best name for this event. I think they should be called the district regionals, because to me that implies competition. And in reality, the Watchtower is all about competition. The Bible says not to compare yourself to others with regards to your faith, but the Watchtower totally ignores that. They don't care. They want you to compare yourself to others. And if you don't believe this, just watch JW Broadcasting or read the Watchtowers or go to a convention and watch the experiences. They love to find the quadriplegic person who was able to pioneer by blinking from their hospital bed and to show that story so that you will ask yourself why it is that you can't do more to serve Jehovah. And they will always have experiences of people that were living a comfortable life but decided that they weren't giving enough to Jehovah, so they sold all their belongings and started doing some menial jobs to make ends meet so that they could pioneer and spend all their time in service to Jehovah. The Watchtower wants you to compare yourself to those people. That's all they care about, is comparing yourselves to others to get you to put in more field service time. But I digress. So online on the jw.org library, you can't find these publications that were released within my lifetime. Now, why is that? It's very easy to make PDFs of all the books and to put them online. And I know this for a fact because you can find the writings of Charles Taze Russell, of Joseph F. Rutherford, and all the Watchtower literature all the way up to the current time online in PDF format, thus proving it's not very hard. And I'm fairly certain that Bethel has all of that information. So if they really wanted to, they could quite easily make PDFs of all that information and place it online. So the question you have to ask yourself is, well, why doesn't this happen? What they will tell you is because the light has gotten brighter. Why bother studying old light? But that is not quite exactly the way that it works. So I'm going to talk about a situation where light does get brighter in terms of information increasing. I'll use the example of the field of mathematics. In mathematics, we use algebra that was invented, I believe, around 1,000 years ago. We use calculus, which was first invented by Leibniz and Newton in the 1600s, and it was improved upon by the likes of Lagrange, Laplace, Fourier, Euler, and people like this. You can still do their mathematics, and you can still arrive at correct answers to questions. So with mathematics, the more complex of a question you want to answer, the more complex mathematics you need to use. So for example, if you want to understand how the wing of an airplane makes lift, you can use some fairly simple mathematics to calculate velocity of air over a wing versus air under a wing and get your lift. But if you want to understand what's happening where the air is touching the wing, well, you've got to use much more complex mathematics. And what happens is, for engineers and for scientists who are studying these things, the more complex tools they're able to use, the better things they're able to design. So airplanes back in the early 1900s from the Wright brothers, they were able to fly and get off the ground. They moved kind of slow. But now you have, if you look at military aircraft, you have fighter jets that can go close to Mach 3 or thereabouts. I forget the exact numbers. But those things are light getting brighter. You've gone from an airplane that, well, it would fly, wouldn't go very far, it would break down all the time, to airplanes that can fly around the world. That's the light getting brighter. So that's really technical, I understand. But this here is not like that. So if you were to try to figure out when you thought the end of the system of things was coming based upon this literature in front of you, you would think that Armageddon was late. It should have been here by now, because the generation that should have seen those things have all died. well, there might be like 10 or 20 people left, but does not at all encompass what Jesus said about the generation. So the current teachings now completely contradict the teachings from this time. So what we're seeing is in the field of human endeavors, of mathematics, you can still use mathematics from even 1,000 years ago and more than 1,000 years ago to get the right answer for problems of a given situation. Whereas for the literature in front of you, you cannot use what's presented in it to come out to a right answer. You will get a wrong answer. So with mathematics, you see light getting brighter. With this information, you see things changing. You see old understandings are wrong. This is the real reason why they have to hide information from you. So, a number of these books were studied at what was called the book study when I was growing up and well into my adulthood, and I think that was a very apt name for that study because indeed you were studying what was located in the book. And the book would take scriptures out of context to try to make it look as if they were teaching what was in the Bible, but the very fact that they have been proven wrong by the passage of time indicates that you were not actually studying the Bible, but you were studying the book. And they changed the name of that study to the Congregation Bible Study when they eliminated that book study. And now they've changed it once again. Now I believe it's part of the Christian Life and Ministry meetings where you can find treasures from Jehovah's Word. So here you see a number of books, and this here in front of you is just a small subset of the books that you cannot get on the jw.org website. To find Jehovah's Witnesses dating back to Charles Taze Russell, you have to go to other sources who put it out there that you can get. So this kind of tells you a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses. Their library is not a library. Rather, what it is it's presenting their current dogma, and it's attempting to hide their old dogma. Because when you compare the two, you can see that it's nothing more than dogma. Anyways, that was something that I thought was interesting. So thanks for watching.